Let's solve a problem about average speed and average velocity. A person makes a round trip where they travel 250 kilometers at 95 kilometers per hour, take a 1 hour lunch break, and then return 250 kilometers at 55 kilometers per hour. Let's start by drawing a diagram to visualize the journey. Here's our starting point. And the person travels 250 kilometers to the right at 95 kilometers per hour. Then they take a 1 hour lunch break and finally return 250 kilometers at 55 kilometers per hour. Let's first calculate the time taken for each part of the journey. For the outgoing trip, we use the formula time equals distance divided by speed. That's 250 kilometers divided by 95 kilometers per hour, which gives us 2.63 hours. For the return trip, we use the same formula. That's 250 kilometers divided by 55 kilometers per hour, which gives us 4.55 hours. Now, let's add up all the times to get the total time. We have 2.63 hours for the outgoing trip, plus 1 hour for lunch, plus 4.55 hours for the return trip, giving us a total of 8.18 hours. Now, let's calculate the average speed. Average speed is the total distance divided by the total time. The total distance is 250 kilometers plus 250 kilometers, which is 500 kilometers. So the average speed is 500 kilometers divided by 8.18 hours, which equals 61.1 kilometers per hour. Now for the average velocity. Average velocity is the total displacement divided by the total time. Since this is a round trip, the person starts and ends at the same point, making the total displacement 0. Therefore, the average velocity is 0 kilometers divided by 8.18 hours, which equals 0 kilometers per hour. So there's our answer. The average speed for the round trip is 61.1 kilometers per hour, while the average velocity is 0 kilometers per hour. This illustrates the important difference between speed and velocity. Velocity takes direction into account, while speed only considers the magnitude of motion.